Nasty dog.
I'm Chris Leo, one quarter of the Black Super Friends podcast, and you're tuned in to Monday Night Raw, where we give it to you unfiltered, uncensored, and uncircumcised. Well, you know what I mean.
Good evening. Good evening, Forest Town. Here, one Monday night. We like to call Monday Night Raw. I'm your host tonight, The Horace Towns, and I'm joined by my three best friends that I would like to call the Black Super Friends. I'm going to go to the bottom first, go into the corner to the guy who calls himself the Ladies' Man.
Good evening, ladies. Good evening, my guys. How y'all doing? Welcome to the Black Super Friends podcast.
All right, I'm going to go on ahead, above the Ladies' Man. Got to watch my words with y'all. And introduce my player that's out of the north. We call him Super Mario Sr. Please say the senior.
Greetings and salutations from the land of milk and honeys. Hey.
All right. Shout out to Nika Falana and Valu Pierre that are in the comment section. We appreciate you for joining us tonight. I would like to introduce, last but not least, the Aristotle of podcasts, the Socrates of late night. I call him Chris Caesar Leo.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. Ladies, you're all welcome. And hope you don't get pregnant tonight.
Well, Chris,
Amazing.
okay. Amber Dawkins.
It is Monday Night Raw, though.
Yeah, and you came up with the whole premise. I didn't know where you was going with the rawness, but you know, hey, trending news, guys. I want to go to something fast. I want to make a correction. We celebrated the awesome legacy of Jackie Robinson, who died just a little while back, and Palm Beach native, amazing person. Thank you, Chris. And I wanted to highlight him as the first African American to play Major League Sports. And one thing we want to do is always be factual. That's what's been told to us, and we accepted it. But in reality, that's not true. We actually had a black man that played Major League Baseball way back in 1864. It's not hilarious, but even though racism has been consistent, back in 1864, the media outlets actually named him the best player in Major League Baseball. He played catcher for the Toledo Blue Sox. And the amazing part about his story is, even though he played catcher, they didn't give him a glove. So he caught 90 and 100-mile fastballs with his bare hands. So the career actually was turbulent because of the relationship that he had with other players who reserved the right to play with an African-American player. Even though he was a Michigan grad, professional, a major athlete, it wasn't the media that had a problem with it. It was the players around the league who didn't want to play with da-da-da-da. You know his name, guys?
I'm guessing it's the black guy.
Moses Fleetwood Walker.
Oh, sweet Willie.
That's why we like Cadillacs.
Moses Fleetwood Walker made his appearance in 1864 in Major League Baseball. It would be 60 years before another African-American would enter Major League Sports. So I want y'all to actually Google that for yourselves, but we always want to keep history in its right perspective and be factual. Hello to the comments that are popping earlier. Tanisha, Mishika, Nicholas, Nick from the hood, Latanya Hughes, Dr. H. We appreciate you in tonight. Baby Lion, that's new. But listen, even though I want to do trending news real quick, the media keeps saying that we have a George Floyd trial, which is interesting to think because the concept is George Floyd died after an American police officer stood on top of his neck for 9 minutes until he suffocated. And somehow that's what I keep hearing in the headlines, George Floyd trial. George Floyd trial, when the trial is actually a trial to get a guilty verdict against Derrick Jackxn. So I want to get y'all thoughts on that real quick, because it's amazing how a man that has lost his life is still on trial somehow. Mario.
Yeah, I think that everybody in the world watching this close, and I hate to say that the traction of this case has died down, but let's just call a spade, and say it is. And I think they picked the perfect time when Moneybag Joe just gave out his last stimulus. Everything seems to be running back smooth, and everything seems to be cool in the black community to say, you know what, it's time to have this case because the Negroes are calmed down again, and we can slip another one under them. So I think I just want to urge everybody to make sure that you're looking and keeping a close eye on this case. And I looked at it a little bit. I'm not too up to a front with what's all going on, but let's just say their defense seemed to be based around that the officer did not kill him; he overdosed, and that right there is just a that is crazy. A way to start off a video murder. That's all I got to say about that one for right now.
I want to say that I think we need to be very cautious, because once we see a big payout, just like a settlement that like we seen, I think that a lot of BS is about to come down, and that was one of the biggest settlements ever. I think Zay mentioned that in a show prior. So I think that we need to look forward to something coming down the pike that we may not all agree with. But I hope Derrick Cracker burn in hell.
As you talk about BS, and Hardy made mention too, they're saying that it was a drug overdose and what killed him. They once said it was COVID. So I just don't know what smoke and mirrors they're gonna pull up this time, but we already know how this goes. You pay out, the officer walks, and hopefully this changes, but we don't see any change in sight. We see what's coming.
All right. Well, the trial starts. I want to say to everybody that they're already they're already prepared for riots and whatnot. So, be prepared for a not guilty verdict. Usually we'll pay, but, it's to wash the sins away. So I guess change it, not be so emotional. Almost, it shouldn't be that way, but it's almost like we getting used to it. So maybe we getting conditioned to think, or through a verdict, that we don't matter. But in the sense of that, before we go to the Derrick Jackxn, a question I have for y'all, I had a personal question, and y'all didn't have time to prepare for it. That's what I love about it. And it's personal in the sense that a couple weeks ago, we were talking about, I don't remember the topic, but I said something and I didn't like Chris's answer. And then I came back and I said, Chris, you absolutely do matter. I'm like, bro, all the stuff that you're doing in the community, yada, yada, yada. And he was like, okay, I see it. And I think we had another question with Chris, and then I had a question with the ladies' man. And it was like, my question is to an extent is, we are actually doing well. If you look at your life now and look at your life 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it's not the same. But like when Chris was talking about, he was gauging his accomplishments and, his impact, and if he was doing enough. That's a question that all of us have highlighted on this show. And the thing that probably got me was the other day, I was talking to Mario, and Mario just bought it. He bought his second home. He's successful. He has a side business. Xavier has his business. Like, we're actually doing good. But what is it that makes us constantly question our progress or analyze whether we're doing enough? Like, you can be doing so good and everybody else seeing us, they're like, boy, you're doing real good, but you don't really feel it. You don't feel like you're doing enough. Chris just said the other week, he was like, when he was here, he was doing his mentoring with the kids and he was doing different things. And then last week he was questioning, what he had going on now. And we looking like, bro, you got a business, you're doing major stuff. but he didn't feel it. So I guess my question is, what is it that makes us consistently question that? Because I have such a fear of failing that drives me every day. As much as I bless my family and I'm good to my family and I know my importance, I know that if I fail, I don't really have someone I can go to. So I know that's a lot of pressure on me. And like most black men that grew up without a mom or dad or whatever, there's a lot of pressure on us. But even though we're doing good, I've heard each one of you say, you know, kind of like, I don't know, like you feel like you're not doing enough, or you feel like you missing something. I'm gonna go to Mario first on that, because you usually the wise person of the group. Did you understand my question, Mario?
I do, and I think that that's a question that a lot of men ask themselves when we have talks amongst each other, because most of the time we're dealing with this in silence. And I think it's a little bit of survivor's remorse and fear of failure. When I first met my wife, I seen the ability for her just to walk into situations and have no fear. Like, she could be working a job and she just say, well, this job better, I'm out. And just leave that job and then just go to another job. And then be like, man, I'd be like, man, you already had a rapport over here. Everything was good, but she had no fear. And I think it's because when I started looking into her background, I was like, man, she come from a good, solid family with a mom and a dad. They pretty, you know, they doing pretty good. Her brother, older brother, doing pretty good. Her auntie. So I kind of realized over talking to her that she didn't really have a fear of ever going backwards too far. So she had the courage to just say, you know what, I'm going. And she didn't ever have because there's no pressure on her. Like, she didn't have to worry about taking care of her parents. She didn't have to worry about, she didn't have no kids at the time. And she didn't have to worry about taking care of nobody else, her brothers or sisters. And I think when I look at my life, sometimes at this point I came so far. And a lot of times I look back at my life and say, man, I'm so blessed, because the first steps I was making was so far from the right steps. And even in the midst of me making all those mistakes, I made it this far. And then seeing how far I got to go, because you're always going to be striving and looking at people that you admire, that you know what I'm saying, that give you that fire to keep burning, to say, you know what, bro, I see what he's doing. I like what he's doing. I like what she's doing. And I want to keep going and I want to strive. And a lot of times I had to learn, my wife taught me this, that, you know, we overlook the small accomplishments. Me and Horace was talking, and I was like, man, I got to get this done, man. We got to buy this other house by here. Like, yeah, man. But I just thought about it, like, and I think I was talking to Chris about this. Like 5 years ago, I was in a total different space. And as I keep growing and growing and growing, you just keep going to the next step, because I don't have the luxury to enjoy where I'm at, because I feel like if I stop and enjoy where I'm at, I might slip and then all this can be gone. And that fear of that just keep me going and going and going. And when somebody say you got it, it's just a natural reaction to be like, nah, I'm doing all right. And when they actually look at your accomplishment and telling you good job. And it's hard for me to accept that sometimes, because I look at other people and be like, man, this is a man of same age as me, this and this, and he a millionaire. I got to keep going. He got 5 businesses, 10 businesses. And the more you meet people and get exposed to people, you're going to meet brilliant millionaires. You know what I'm saying? You be like, man, I got to get on it. Instead of saying, you don't know what he did to get there. But I know what I did to get here. And I came a long ways. And I had to start telling myself, hey, man, let me pat myself on the back and maybe not take a break, but slow down and enjoy the flowers as I'm walking along this thing called life. Because, man, you can get wrapped up and then you'll be down on yourself. And I done been there sometimes and not even recognizing, like, bro, I'm doing pretty good. I ain't the same guy, but you don't notice it. And then, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's a tough place. But like Tootie said, a lot of black men are there.
Zabo.
I can agree 100% with you, Hardy. I actually am the poster child of what you were talking about just a second ago. I had this conversation with someone in reference to our tax office, which you guys know last year we started in a smaller space. We actually came from underneath a good friend of ours who helped us get our start. We started with a small space last year. God turned us around in a whole year to where we were able to double in size and add employees. All right. And I caught myself as I think I was introducing both you and Chris to the office, the new office, saying, yeah, we getting started. It ain't much, you know what I'm saying? And y'all looking like, say, this is amazing. This is a nice space. Y'all actually did really, really well. And I myself was beating myself up, which is what you said, Hard. We're hard on ourselves. And I think that because we as human beings are the worst critics of ourselves first, that we don't see the accomplishments that the individuals who are on the outside looking in may see. So you do have to take time to admire yourself, so to speak. Don't get the big head, but give yourself that pat on the back so that you can keep going. Because I understand what you're saying, Hardy. It is a fear of I don't know what to expect next. For one, it's foreign territory for us. We've never been down this road. Most people haven't even talked to us about the way that we're trodden, that path that we're trodden down. So we are afraid, but we know that we got to get up and keep striking the iron while it's hot if we ever want to get to that place that we said that we need to be. But I think we do need to become more aware of the blessings, being grateful that God has bestowed upon us while we are at that place. Keep asking them for abundance, keep asking them for a level head or discernment so that we can continue. And then that trickles down into what you were speaking about with Chris, where the people who we think that are not looking at us are looking at us, but they're also formulating a plan so that they can be bigger and better. And that's all we ever hope to be. I don't know. What do you think?
That's a good point. Before I go to Chris, you said something I guess I didn't see. All of us didn't have that. We're courageous enough to know we want better, and we're going at that. But we didn't have anyone to teach us really anything. So maybe that adds to my question. But you know, all of us have done good, man. Beat the odds, beat the statistics. But you know, we didn't have no blueprint. So, Chris, Leo.
Well, I want to say that Zay, the reason why I was, so impressed by when you showed me that office is because I remember you cutting out of your mother's garage when we was teenagers. So I seen the progress. So that's what made me feel that way. But to answer the question, man, like it's our life, it's our live life experiences. It's like for me, I'm just speak for me. For me, my life goes in cycles, and it's getting a lot better now. But as I grew up, man, my life goes in cycles. You'll have like 6 months of things being calm, and then a disaster will come out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a mother on drugs, or first love die, or an uncle hits me in the face with a hammer. It's all kinds of stuff. So it was like that's how it always been for me in my life. Like I can't never get comfortable because that like some real shit might come down the pipe, and I have to always prepare myself for that. So I'm always on pins and needles like that. So when people say stuff like that to me, I brush it off because I don't ever want to let that stray me from my focus. Another thing, I kind of use it as motivation. You know what I'm saying? Like if I never buy into, you never pay attention to what the fans say, because if you start to pay attention to what the fans say, you'll become one. So I try not to hold too much emphasis and weight onto what the accolades or the compliments. You know what I'm saying? Because compliments, I done seen compliments turns into put down. So I try to use that as motivation to keep going. Never get full of myself. Never think that I'm always there, because I know in my life I have to be purpose driven in my life, and I always got to have something that I'm striving to do, and I can never just let up off the gas, man. I got to keep on pushing, and again, we also sometimes life is like a TV. We watching other people. Like I see newbie in the Papa in the messages when I mean in the comments. I watch his life, how he's selling party rentals, or how he was cutting hair, preaching, and now he got the food truck, the catering business. So I look at that as motivation. Like, okay, if this man can start to try to multiply his streams of revenue, then I need to be doing that too. You know what I'm saying? I also take motivation from Horace. I watched Horace go from things he didn't supposed to be doing back in the day to hosting a radio show, being a public figure like that. Like you look at that as if like it's cliche or as if it's nothing, but I don't know nobody that did that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nobody that was on the radio station. I don't know anybody that ran for a public office. You know what I'm saying? So things like that makes me look at it. Then when we talk about the Mario, look, I know what y'all see. I know what y'all see. But I know this guy. This was a knucklehead. This guy was terrible. Like, we are angels compared to this guy. So, you know what I'm saying? And to see what he had at this day, that it keeps you having that type of motivation. So, me personally, I don't ever want to let up off it. I think Plies made a video about this. Like, we struggle with this. But you know, I appreciate the accolades, man. But I just don't let it go to my head.
All right, Chris is a Leo. That's why I didn't let y'all prepare for it, because just seeing that all of us have had that conversation, like, I did great last year and I can't even enjoy it because I'm panicking. I'm like, okay, I got to maintain it. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all boys. I was honest enough to say to my friend, like, hey, I told y'all last week, like, hey, I'm stressing. You know, I'm closing. I'm going after something. Like, I'm close to closing my 5-year goal, one of my 5-year goals. And y'all all, listen, I'm appreciative. Y'all all came through. Everybody made a call, like, hey, you good, bro? I was saying, hey, can y'all help me with this? Man, y'all don't know how that touched me, because, like, me and Mario was having a conversation earlier, and I'm like, sometimes you know your position and you can do so much. And, you know, that reciprocity ain't always there in a lot of them situations. That don't mean you don't have to still stand strong. It just means that's your position to stand in the gap for a lot of people. But
let me add,
Chris, you're taking over the hosting.
Well,
I was gonna say, let me add something right quick, Chris. I definitely want to tell you thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because you helped me to recognize something that I didn't. Also, I'm gonna teach you something that Mario taught me. Learn how to take your flowers while they're giving them to you. Don't let it give you the big head, but just accept it and say, you know, put the feather in your cap and still keep going. But don't let it deter you from your mission. And that's just something that I'm saying to you. Hopefully it'll click, where when people give you the compliments or tell you that you're doing a good job, you don't downplay it. You just take it. You don't have to get hardy or big spirited, but just take it as fuel and keep going.
I'm gonna take that into consideration, but I'm really
don't worry, we're gonna work on that with you. We got you. That's what brothers are for.
I see you as the big brother, Chris. So
okay, I appreciate that too. Yeah. But you were saying something about how things touch you and how hard it was. That brings me to my next. That brings me to my next subject.
Pause.
In the wake of the Derrick Jackxn situation or cheating scandal, I think it's time that we have an open discussion about cheating. So I want to have an open discussion about cheating with you fellas. I want you guys to give me your definition. I want you guys to give me your definition. I want you guys to give me, is there rules to cheating? And have you ever regretted cheating? So I'll go first. My definition. Let's start with the definition. My definition is this. I believe that cheating is a married man sport. I believe that I live in a world where when I go to fill out applications, when I go to school, when I job, taxes and things like that, they ask me a question. They ask me, are you single or married? So that's the world that I live in, either single or married. So I believe that the only people that can cheat is married people. I think we glorify boyfriend and girlfriends way too much, because I had a girlfriend when I was in the 3rd grade. So and I'm as a grown ass man, I'm calling somebody my girlfriend, and then we are holding boyfriends up to standards that's for husbands, and we wonder why men be reserved about marriage when we already been under the same guidelines and rules. So why should we why should we proceed and get married when this is the same thing, when we're dealing with the same thing? Also, now I can kind of maybe a little bit give a little wiggle room with someone that you're living with, you're cohabitating with, but at the same time, I still think it's either marriage or I think it's either marriage, or you're either married or single, and that's how I think. That's what I think it is. I think cheating. My definition of cheating is a marriage sport. What do you think, Hardy?
Hold up, I got you, Hard. excuse me, when it comes to cheating, there are rules, right? You don't.
We're gonna talk about the definition first. We'll get to the rules later.
Let's go.
We go to the
but
definition.
Definition by what you said is actually right, because until you have a ring on your finger, you're not married. So you're out just dating, unless you tell that person that you're exclusively dating them. That's the only clause that I can see. Because once you said I'm exclusively dating you, you've made a commitment. Now, as a man, you got to be a man of your word, honor your commitment. If not, your balls and your word is all you got. You broke them. She gonna break you. I'm gonna be straightforward with you. But if you out here in this world, ain't no such thing as cheating. You go with all of them until you find the horse that you like and you ride off into the sunset. That's my rules.
Mario, talk to me. Talk to
Interesting.
Me. Married man.
Yeah, I have to. Well, you know how I feel, because anybody who knows me know that I didn't play I haven't had too many girlfriends in my life. So, and it's because I value what Zay said on. If we agree for something, and then I tell you as a man, this is where I stand, then if I break that covenant, even though it's not ordained by God to be a marriage, then that's cheating. But I feel like what Chris is saying is true, because I think that we as people put too much emphasis and too many rules and too many boundaries on a dating, a courtship, because that's what it is before marriage. And I think that cheating word get thrown around so much when in actuality both people doing it anyway. So I think that you can't be really cheating unless, like what Zay said, I tell you that we're gonna be exclusive or we married. Because by being married though, that could be tricky too. Because a marriage is how y'all set it up to be. So if you agree that on these days I can go talk to da 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 da, and it's the whatever agreement we have, long as I don't go back on the contract that we signed, then
hold that thought. So that sounds
great
like
point.
That sounds like rules. Horace Towns, talk to me.
Well, guys, listen, this is gonna be interesting, right? My definition of cheating actually pertains to a physical exchange or a severely mental exchange of intimacy, right? So, say I'm with someone married and under married, or even in a committed relationship, because if I say we exclusive and then I break that contract or that understanding, then that's cheating. So remember on Baby Boy when he went over there and he was about to do it and he got into it, is that cheating? I gotta say that was cheating because he was inches from taking a dive. So I just think I expect that. See, we different. Intimacy is when you have crossed into something real personal. You allow somebody in a real intimate space, a sacred space. So I got to say cheating is physical, and also when it deals with intimacy as far as definition, right? For me, y'all know me on 34. Married, I've never cheated, right? Committed relationships, never cheated. Dating, I'm actually dating not the starting five. But I let some people know like I'm dating. So that's not cheating.
Okay, so
you observe that.
We have the definition. Now, since we all agree that there's such thing as cheating, is there rules of cheating? I'll go first. Okay, so here's the thing. This is about rules to cheat. This is what I think. No family members, no homegirls at all. No family members, no homegirls. No outside babies, round rubber, no outside babies or diseases, wild a rubber, and no extra relationships. If she's gonna go through your phone, she's gonna find out. But make sure when she called the other girl say, "Nah, Chris ain't my boyfriend. He don't do nothing for me, but give me that thing." So for me personally, those are my rules. No family members, no homegirls, no wild condom, no babies, no diseases, and also last but not least, no extra girlfriends. That is not your girlfriend. You're just smashing and you need to get on about your business. We're gonna go right back to you, Horace. Talk to me.
Damn. What are you asking me?
I'm asking you, since you agree that you made a definition for cheating, is there rules to cheating?
Well, yeah, but the rules have been broken against me. So, me personally, I personally, I don't care what. I'm not dating somebody that y'all dated, right? That's just me. I'm not Mr. Go Behind. We know people that exclusively. If you date a Chris, I'm going right behind. I don't do that.
Well, I'm a hard act to follow, my brother. I'm a hard act to follow. But go ahead.
I hope so.
So she said,
but I can't see myself going behind that. You know what I mean? So, if there are rules of cheating, I think when you know what? Yeah, my one rule of cheating is how you cheat. You know, you got a lot of dudes that will betray their friend and say XYZ to get a piece of the pie. That is treason to me. I want you beheaded. But I know people that do it. Just if you go after one of my chicks, go at her, but don't bring me into it. And I have been done that way, and it don't bother me. So when she cheat or they do whatever they do, I don't feel a thing. So I just say be 100.
That's a G code violation.
It bothers me. It bothers me.
Well, technically, you're already in the wrong, but I understand what Chris was going from. If you are going to cheat, and that's the road you choose to walk down, I suggest that you make sure that it's not another relationship, and that entails emotional transformation. Like, don't be emotional. Don't do memorable things with the other girl. If it's cheating, then she need to be filling a void. But then it goes back to what Tootie said, is that you might be cheating not for sex. You might be cheating because emotionally you don't feel a connection to the person that you've already committed to. And then that's when it get a little hairy. Because a lot of people are only gonna quantify cheating by sexual acts. But if I'm spending long days on the phone with you, going out to the movies, going on trips, showing up for you, being there for you, then some might say that's cheating as well. And especially if you're depriving the one who you already signed the contract with or committed to. So I think it is rules. And I think that if you are going to step back, then it should just be a sexual thing, because I believe as men, we have less ties when it's just sexual, when it's with another partner. Because I think that we can have no attachment when it's just sexual. But I believe once a man start going into that relationship mode with two women, because the worst thing you want is it's already hurt when she cheated. But when the girl you cheating with text her all the stuff you bought her, all the love yous, all the pictures of you at her grandma's funeral with her holding her head. See, that's when the cheating, that's when it just get unforgivable. Because we always got at least 2 forgive yous in us. But when they're done, you use all 3 strikes right there. So if you don't cheat, they can just smash you.
Hardy. Now they say black men don't cheat. And Zay is one of the blackest men I know. So tell me, Zay, is there rules to cheating?
Zay Jamaican.
Yeah, that's gonna be my first disclaimer. I'm Jamaican. All right. So, but I will say this though, it's an oxymoron. How can there be rules to cheating? Bitch, you cheating.
Because it's all wrong. There's rules to the game. There's honor amongst thieves. But I'll let you go.
I hear you. I just feel like it's cheating. Cheating is cheating. But I did want to comment on what you were saying, Hart. I actually had a conversation about that with an individual who was telling me about cheating, and if something happened, because you said we have so many forgive yous inside of us. But if they go to where they have a relationship, that was something that they were saying they would not be able to forgive. And I started thinking about that. And I'm thinking, as men, this kind of reflects back on the question that we had about why women are the way that they are, right? But us men, we have been raised to appease women, right? Always look out for them, make sure that they straight and stuff like that. And I think to a sort, not as an excuse, ladies or guys, when a guy mess around and get the goodies, right? He somewhat feels indebted to her. Not that he wants to have a relationship with her. In his mind, I'm just smashing. But he may do something like, I ain't got no lunch money. I ain't got no gas or whatever. He do those things. Those are the acts that you're talking about, Mario, that's going to get you canned, where she's not going to be able to forgive you. And in your mind, you like, damn, I don't like her. I like you. I just like the access that I had to her at that time. And then that's something about it.
Not to cut you off, but you know where that come from? That come from being most of us and men are raised by women.
Yeah.
So we naturally gonna pick up the actions of what a woman want a man to do. So like right now, I have a son. So my advice gonna be different than his mama advice gonna be to him. So right now, like you said, that advice that we gonna get is don't just treat a woman like this. Don't just do this. Don't do this. But then if you was to have a dad who is not married or who understands the game, like Chris said, he gonna be like, bro, you gonna do it? Do it this way. But see, we never had that do it this way talk until it was all of us at one of our houses, like, bro, what you doing? No, you can't do it. Then we bumping off. We going through this. I'm seeing Zay windows get busted out saying, I can't do it that way. Tootie get chased down the road. I can't do it that. You know what I'm saying? We never had nobody, because some of the people who came down the street at early ages met a timeless demise. The people who really could say they had women of all sorts and had the ability to us to say, bro, I believe him, what he's saying. I'm willing to listen. A lot of dudes give you advice and you be like, bro, you ain't got no shut up. You know what I'm saying? But it's always that one guy who come around and you be like, okay, cuz, what you got to say? I'm gonna take that up. And us being raised by women, a lot of times we've been taught to treat every woman like a queen, even if that's not the case in certain states. How we feel.
I got one disclaimer, the heart. Okay. I've never gotten my window busted out by a woman. A woman acting man, maybe, but not a woman. And that's not. But then,
that was just an example, man. That's just an example.
I know. Okay. But the other part too about what you said, and that's just quick. When you said we're raised by women, this is the point that I was making when I was speaking to, I think, the doctor that time about why it goes wrong for women. We as men have been taught how to love a woman by a woman, and it's not necessarily right. Where we do need that man tutelage, like you were talking about, that male toxicity, like my brother Chris be talking about, in order to know how to do things right. Because if a man talk, well, you know what, I might have to recant my statement about rules to cheating. Because if a man taught a man how to cheat, then he gonna tell you, hit her and quit her. But because we were raised by women, it's a little sticky that you don't know how to hit her and quit her. You kind of hit her and you trying to wean her off. And it don't never work.
Yeah, you're not trying to abuse her and not trying to miss it. You're doing all the stuff your mom taught you how to treat a woman right. Instead of saying, bro, you gonna fuck up this way.
Listen, two people that saved our lives, our Uncle JT,
Amen,
really impacted our lives. My dad, he wasn't worth a damn, but he taught me about what I need to know, right? Just got to be given that much credit. But you know what's interesting, man? Whether Chris believe it or not, I never cheated when I was in a relationship, right? But me personally, I was scared of the karma.
I can still see your spots.
Whatever. I see a lot of people. I swear. Listen, I've seen dudes, boy, be out here slinging their wang all over the place. And the minute he find out somebody then jumped in his pool, he trying to jump off the bridge somewhere.
I never want to be that dude.
Listen, man. Yeah, but that's the real thing. And then on the other side, women will say that men, there's so many cheating men out here, but who they cheating with? One thing I can say, y'all complain about Future and Lab, but Future is never short of dates.
Never.
And there's a lot of Futures out here that ain't never ever gonna be lacking.
I always say that sisterhood is so superficial. Me and my wife say this all the time. And I always like, women only care when they homegirl getting cheated on. But when they homegirl the one who cheating with the other dude, then it's like, girl, you crazy. Yeah, it's crazy today because she screwing somebody else, man. But when she get traded, that nasty hoe, she should have known better. It's a double standard amongst them two.
Well, I ain't Future. I'm more like next month. But I want to add a rule. Tell the truth, especially if you're not married. Tell the truth. I'm not saying tell the truth from some moral standard or some moral high ground. Tell the truth because you have a pair of nuts and she can't, and you're not scared to tell that woman the truth. That's what I want to say lastly. For my final part of this question, have you ever regretted cheating? I'm going to go first again. Yeah. I'm going to say I have never, ever regretted the action of cheating. I've only regretted the reaction to my cheating. The face I've seen, it almost felt like the soul came out of a woman when she found out that I was cheating. And that right there really, really affected me. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think that stuff like that has made me stay single for a long time because looked at a woman and just felt like I can see the joy and just come out of her. And that's the part that I kind of don't want to do no more. Because I was breaking all the rules. Well, not all the rules of cheat. I wasn't no friends or nothing like that or family members, but I wasn't being honest, and I just wasn't right. So I can't say I ever regretted the action of cheating, but the reaction that I seen, the look on that woman's face when she found out, and just like it seemed like I took something from her, and I regret that. Zay.
Hey, I'm with you on that, Chris, 100%. I actually had an incident, you know about it, where I didn't even touch the chick, but I guess I did all of the action, so we're gonna consider it cheating. And I remember my apology to the young lady was that I was not sorry that I did it. I was sorry that she saw it. You understand what I'm saying? Because how can I sit here and lie and say that I was sorry for cheating? I did it. Let's keep it a buck. You feel me? However, that letdown that you said, that face,
yeah,
I didn't want to see. For that, I felt bad. Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Now that I didn't intend on, because I didn't think long enough or far enough to say, what if this happened? How would this make that person feel? That was my fault. That part I regretted 100% unequivocally. But I also had another situation in where it was a lie. It's called what was that? Rocco's Tacos, which taught me to never lie again. Oh yeah,
never forget.
Never forget. But I want you to understand the heartbreak kid was born at that point, because before I ever be called a liar again, I will hurt you with the brutal truth. Because one thing that you will say is, I may not agree with the way in which he told me something. However, he did tell me the truth. Because a lot of these jokers out here gonna lie to you, and then you're gonna come back to appreciate me. It's okay.
Keep that thing one thigh out. DeMario.
Well, yeah, I think that I'm gonna go. Maybe this may be a little too explicit, but I have before I learned who I really was and my worth. Then, like Chris was saying, I didn't have no balls, so I lied and cheated because it was the easiest way. I just didn't want to confront it. I didn't think I had to, and I just clearly didn't give a damn. Until the point I felt like, bro, why am I lying? Like, I don't, if you want to leave. Like, I don't have to commit to you to get this. I don't have to. Then once I grew up and understood, like, bro, I don't have to lie, because women still will take my truth and deal with me the way I want a woman to deal with me. So then I had to learn that. So then from that day on, it's like, it's no point of lying no more, because there's still women out here who I can tell I'm not going to commit to you, and I can still get everything I want. So if you're not that woman, more power to you. May God be the glory. I would choose her. And then, so once I learned that, I didn't. But then what happened is, in my former days before that, I cheated. And then I was so enthusiastic about the girl who I was finna cheat with. And it turned out to be all made up in my head. Everything about the situation was a disaster. And I was mad that I cheated. Like, bro, this how it didn't work. I did all this. I drove all the way over here. It was planned. It wasn't really like, so I was disgusted in the act. And furthermore, because back in my former days, in my other life, I was a real pistol cheat out here. So I was shooting. So I was like, then on the ride home, I was disgusted with myself. Like, hey, why would you talk to the devil just left my body, and then I came back to myself. It was a demon in me. So as I looked at back into myself and looked at the girl, I was like, bro, why did you just hit her? That was just like uncalled for. That was way beneath you. I was appalled with myself.
And the $5 in condoms.
Hey, listen.
Come on, man.
He spent $5.
I was just so appalled at myself. Like, bro, I lowered my standards. I'm better than this. And I was hoping that there wouldn't be an asterisk on my record, because I knew it would definitely bring my stock down. So I was ashamed for a while. And I talked to my brothers, and we all laughed about it, because it's definitely a laughable moment in my life, because I haven't hit all dimes, contrary to what y'all believe. But I'm gonna say yes. To answer Chris' question, yes, I have regretted it. Regretted it.
Before I go to horrors, I would like to give a disclaimer. I am a very clumsy guy, and I've slipped and tripped into some puss before, so I'm just very clumsy. Horace, what were you saying again? What were you saying?
Listen,
have you ever regretted cheating?
No, because I've never cheated, guys. I really want you to listen.
Amazing.
Listen.
Hey,
I did not.
Y'all want to see a wild cheat on the podcast?
What?
Better than National Geographic.
I never listen. 34th Street. Give me my credit. 34th Street. Y'all know the Star and 5.
You ran a
Everybody
tight ship.
knew about each other. What?
You ran a tight ship.
But people knew. Chris, you couldn't understand it, but you soon came to respect.
Allegedly.
This. Listen, I ran the track. I never cheated, right? But in my younger years, when I was hanging around you filthy vagrants, I was the person that women cheated with.
You taught us.
The lies you tell. So listen, that is really what kind of screwed me up because I was dealing with different people who was in relationships, and they would call and be like, "Hey, I'm about to come through real quick. Come through." And they asked.
It's that fast.
And then one day, like Mario said, I was like, you know what? I'm more than a piece of meat. Okay. I deserve to be taken out for dinner and a movie.
I ain't say that.
So, you know,
I said I had a bad piece of meat.
I'm more than a wham bam, thank you, wham. So listen, but that did shake my insecurities. Like, okay, I'm great at that, but what's more to life? And if I don't want to ever think I'm special, that like if you doing that to him with me, then I got it for a while. It made me always think like I never would doubt. I would never say that a woman didn't cheat. So if I was with somebody and they cheated, I'd be like, you know, I always expected the karma to come back, but I never cheated in a relationship simply because I didn't want that karma. So I wanted to lessen the blow that was going to come back on me one day.
Oh yeah.
Well, I want to say one thing since we're talking about cheating and I had a little thing about marriage. I want to give a big shout out to my recently married cousin Boosie. We want to, from the Black Super Friends, we want to say congratulations on your marriage, and we hope that it's full of non-cheating and happiness. Congratulations, Wadika.
That's what's up.
Yeah, well, guess what, guys? I really wanted more support on that, you know, but I didn't get it. I didn't go state evidence on you.
Hey, I think we need to do a piece on that part that Mario was talking about, because I think a lot of women fail to realize that after we cheat, we feel terrible, and our stock went down. Like we don't enjoy cheating, and the pressure that y'all put on us to cheat, it's despicable. It's terrible. We'll talk about that at another time.
Another topic, because this is icky. I mean,
you know what's the worst part? You know what the worst part? It's like you are possessed, and then after the booth, you be like, "Where am I?
Clean. I'm delivered.
It's I
don't want no more."
What?
It's the lust demon, and as he flies away out your body, he look at you like,
Damn,
got another one.
Well, listen, let's not forget the great drought of '99.
Yes, that scared me a lot. That's what turned me into the marksman I am today.
That's a movie. That's movie material right there. I would never forget such a time where the drought kept us barren.
One are full of ourselves.
Hey, not to go out the subject. It says overseer artist Nubi is in the this 99 he talks about. I guess Horace and Papa have been talking, so they had came up with this great idea. We're gonna start over on our rock. So he came in the house and we cleared our phones. Man, that's the worst mistake in my
great drought.
When I tell you, I never thought it was so. I never seen something. I'm like, what is this? It's like God said, "Oh, you tried me, huh? So I smite you the whole summer."
Come on, man.
I said, God.
We were humble.
Arizona.
We were humble.
This cannot be. I said, I would never tell the whole God ever again to spit in their face again. I would never do it again. I repented, and then I promised I would never ever be that guy again. Jesus Christ.
We were humble. It wasn't a girl in sight. Nowhere.
It's like every day I'm out of town. I say, God.
Everybody went away for the summer. It's like, God, I would never act so egotistical in my life again, sir.
Except for handler.
Oh man.
You started
I think that's a summer our dear friend Black threw his shoulder out.
Go to the next subject, man.
Oh boy.
He had the gas. Oh man.
All right. Yeah, I remember that. Listen,
Oh,
okay, I
boy.
got to get some order in the court, man. Right? Listen, we're going to a viewer question, man. So y'all be ready. All right.
Hey, Black Super Friends. My question today is, why is it that men or women, but I guess men in this case, have somebody that's good? Because let's be clear, the pickings are slim, and they have a good person, a good mate, someone who takes care of the household, someone who goes to work, someone who's supportive, someone who's ambitious. Why do y'all mess that up?
Oh, I'm going to the date doctor himself. Please answer this. I know you prepared for it.
Okay, well, thanks for the titties. I mean, question. Just talking about the question.
Amazing.
No. I'm talking about the question. I am very cautious when I hear women talk like this. I'm very cautious. A lot of things in that video alarm me. First off, she said that let's be honest, there's slim pickings. That's a lie. There's not slim pickings. It's only slim pickings for women that's trying to give you a bad deal. If you're trying to give a bad deal, men are not buying that shit. So no. And another thing she said was she said things like good woman, good person. Those things are subjective. So I would have to ask the man about that. Because if it's one thing I've never heard is a woman say she's a bad woman or she got bad puss. So at the end of the day, there's no, according to women, they all are good women, and they all got good box. So no, that's one thing that I would not at all take at face value when women say. Now, other things that alarmed me in that video was she said something about keep a job, keep a house. Those are not things that's not special to me. That's just being an adult, and you get no extra credit for that. So no, you don't get anything like that. What I don't hear is what I believe that men actually want. She didn't say anything about being friendly, being fit, being cooperative. She didn't say anything about how much respect she gave that man. And I'm here to say right now. Look, men has drawn their foot in the sand. We put our foot down. If you want the cheating to stop, then increase the treatment, increase the respect, increase the cooperation, increase the just compliments and adoration and all these things. If you really want this cheating to stop, then that's what we want. That's our demands, and we don't negotiate with terrorists. So if that's what you want, and you want us to stop, then increase the treatment. And that's all I got to say about that. Zay, what you got?
Zay.
Whew. Okay, Chris. That's a tough act to follow. Let's see. Because I think she said she directed it towards us as men, right?
Yeah, she said that.
Why is it always us that don't know what to do? I'm gonna have to follow your lead, Chris. It's a lot of things that women cause men to cheat by. I don't know. It's so much. It's so much that goes on. Because if something's not working, there's a reason, and that's the reason why I'm saying that. You can be this good self-proclaimed woman, but you're missing on some avenue or front to why that man isn't making it work. If that's not the case, then maybe you need to get your eyes checked because he wasn't the man that you thought he was. But I don't like that blanket that y'all throw out there that all men are that way. You got to start doing research, have conversations with that individual that you were with. Make sure that you understand them first, because you could be just setting yourself up. And that man probably showed you from day one that he wasn't the one that was deserving of that treatment that you were given. But you had other plans for that man without his consent, and it left you where it left you.
Exactly. Hardy.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here. And let's just say, because she did say, in this case, men, because I think she was addressing a man's show. So let's just say that she's not biased. Let's just say she was asking us to hear a man's point of view. And let's just say that the quote unquote girl was a good girl, was outstanding, amazing, breathtaking, God sent even. Let's just say all those things for just, for me to be devil's advocate. then I would have to say that if a man, one of my good brothers who is a man, not a boy, was to mess that up, and I would say that, in life, we don't always do everything perfect. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just as simple as that. Sometimes it might just be that I don't know how to love. And intentionally, I'm not trying to mess it up, but I don't even know what love is, how to walk through love, how to be loved, or what the function of loving somebody or being with somebody, cohabitating, being submissive, being faithful, I might just don't know. And I might want to be, and I might want to. And you might be, and I hate to say it like this, but you might be the first person on my trail to making myself this person. And me, and as a man who have went down this trail, I can tell you, and I'm not proud of this. There was a lot of women that came before my wife that they probably wouldn't say the best things about me. And it's because I was learning how to be the person I am, that I was able to go down and ask my wife to marry me. And I think every man goes through that transition, where every man who has had vigorous sex life in their single days, or you know what I'm saying? I think that every man has to desensitize or unlearn this behavior, because for most of our life we're taught get out here, get. So then what happens is when you walk into that person and you meet that person, now it's like boom. In my inside, I feel like this the one. From everything she's displaying, from what my mom said, my homeboy said, my elder said, it looks like she the one. But then, just like anything else in life, you can't just say, hey, turn it off and be this guy. That's just not happening. We're not robots, and that's just not life. So I think a transition has to come through. And I think in that transitional period, we mess it up because I'm always say this, there's not enough grace given. I think sometimes if you sit there and learn the guy you meet, you'll understand that he's probably at the beginning stages of becoming the man of your dreams. But a lot of time, a woman to meet this guy when he's just getting his armor, he's just got his sword, and expect him to be Sir Lancelot. He's just not there yet.
I like that.
But see, sometimes if you was to be patient, to help him oil his sword up, to help him put on his armor and take the bruises, because I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy. But then you'll end up with that light in the shining armor. Or you can just be a stepping stone or a practice dummy to get him ready for war. And I think a lot of time, and it's not to their fault, I'm not blaming the women for it by no means, but I think a lot of time, due to the point of you can't stay, you don't want to stay, or you just don't have enough time to stay, you don't stay. And then the man gets better and better every relationship until he finally understands what it means to love. He understands what it means to have sacrifice. He understands what it means to really to value a woman. And then he meets another woman. And then she gets all this guy ever dreamed he could be. And then all the other women look back and say, damn, why he messed it up? Why he messed it up? But it's nothing he can say. It's just nothing he can say except for I wasn't ready and I didn't know. And a lot of women not gonna take that. They're gonna say he was lying. They're gonna say you could have treated me better. You knew better. But I'm telling you, as a man, and y'all are flies on the wall, a lot of times, sometimes we get the goal before we're ready for the prize. Mm-hmm. And if we do that, then we mishandle it. And that's just as simple as that. And I don't think it's intentional a lot of times, even though we get blamed for it being intentional. And I think that's just to play devil's advocate. If you do meet a good woman before you're ready, that happens a lot of times.
Dr. Hughes, I'm seeing a lot of comments. We want a viewer question from you. We want a video viewer question from you, Dr. Hughes.
You know what, Hardy? You made actually a good point too, Hard, because I did that one time, and I said that before on a previous episode of where I had prayed for something and then prayed for the receiving of it. So you're right. You got a damn good point there.
I know what you're about to receive.
These suckers
in your near future.
Right here.
Listen, whatever, sucker. Listen, I don't know if this is more co-signing what Mario said, but what I want to say is timing is everything. First off, let's be honest. Whether you're a man or woman, if somebody's a cheater, they're a cheater. It's in their character. I got cheated on 15, 17 years ago, and it wasn't about me. It wasn't the sex. It was just that person had a character defect where they were just a cheater. They just a cheater. They still at it. So screw you, Xavier. I didn't say nothing. But timing is everything. Timing is big because like Mario was saying about how you receive stuff. Like Mario was saying earlier, if you ask some women that he dated earlier, they might not have the nicest stuff. You know what I mean, the nicest things to say, but it's about timing. And I will say that a lot of times in relationship, like right now, I'm probably in the best mental space to have a relationship than I've ever been. One of those reasons why is because of grace. I have more grace and that's the word for the night, grace, to have some patience and see things develop and help cultivate the things that my partner may be growing in or kind of stumbling in or trying to work through. So having that grace to be like, we're not perfect, but I love this person enough that I'm gonna stick with them trying to work through these things or help them to cultivate the gifts that they have or, those things that are going to benefit both of us. So that's the thing I would probably say the most. But last off, to her question, a lot of times you can set yourself up for failure because of how you're selling yourself. If you're telling a guy how good you are, he going to say, bet. Let me see. Let me test this. Let me test your theory about you such a good woman and you know how you've been done in the past. If you tell me you done been dogged out in the past, oh, he about to test it out some more. If you say you a good woman, he's about to try to enrich those good qualities you have. So let a person see that you're a good person, but don't put a sticker in the window talking about how good you are because you surely will be tested. So and that's my take for it because I don't want to go too far with it. But I oftentimes hear women say how good they are, and that's their perspective. And then you ask the dude, he'd be like, "Man,
hell no,
lemon."
Wish I never met her." You know what I mean?
But there's a song about it.
You know, and I had to keep going back to them, but since they in the audience, Papa and Shan were artists, and Chandra, you know, I was there like majority of their relationship, right? You know what I'm saying? So Papa was my brother, so I seen Shan, and Shan went to school with me, right? If it wasn't for Shan, I'd never graduate from middle school because I wouldn't have passed Spanish. Thank you, Shan. So when they got together, it's like, man, I was like, dang, Shan was like a very virtuous woman, like to the point like dudes ain't holler at Shan in school like that because she was actually a church girl. It's kind of like she gave off this respect level, like that's Shan, like the sister, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, as bad as you thought I was, what Chris explained, yeah, Papa was apple don't fall too far. So when I seen that, I used to be amazed at the grace and how much she believed in him and how much she poured into him. But then I started seeing like Papa like believe like bro, like he used to say stuff like, bro, I love her. Like the first he was like the first dude I ever said, like, bro, I don't care. Like I'm going all in, like I'm gonna marry her. Like I'm gonna be with her. I'm gonna beat up for her for the rest of her life. I was like, bro, what the hell is wrong with like, bro? We like 17, 18. I'm like, bro, you tripping.
16.
Shan a good girl, but whoa, don't put the horse before the cart. But I seen Papa mess up. I ain't talking about cheating. I'm talking about just being a knucklehead over and over and over. But I seen Shan be like, bro, I believe in you. And even when she got mad, I'm not saying she was all happy, but I seen her like give him grace. And then even in the punishment, it was like a lesson that she was teaching him to say, bro, I got you. And she led with so much love. So I seen the separation. I seen Papa join the church, give his life to Christ. I seen him get out the streets and get a job. I seen him raise every one of his children. And I seen the world at certain points in his life, because of his decision making, come against him. But I never seen her fold. I never seen her run. I never seen her leave his back. And I said, it's amazing how many women called her dumb, said she was silly, said she was stupid. Girl, I would never have been there. I would have been left. But they almost been married for 20 years. And them same women, I would love to see where they at today.
Not married.
They probably have a degree or not. I'm not saying you have a degree. They probably have 2 or 3 houses or not. But most of them, statistically speaking, probably not married. And I'm going to say because marriage is not just a walk down the aisle, God bless us, and we walk off into the sunset. It's an actual agreement of 2 people being giving sacrifice and saying, you know what? I'm going to be unselfish and I want them to be their best person. And whatever that is, I'm going to help them daily to be their best person. And I think that's why Tootie said grace. Grace is what matters. Like grace, without grace, none of us are here. So right now, it'd be so crazy and so demanding how people can say, we're gonna spend our life together. But if you don't do this, then I ain't taking that no more. That's crazy, bro. You got to have grace, you got to have love, you got to have sacrifice. So I think that was just an example of me of saying, bro, even when I get with my wife, she might not do everything I want. And I talk to these brothers all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, I always tell them I love my life and I love being married. But it do get hard sometimes. But then the same grace I want, I lead with. The same sacrifice I want, I lead with. And sometimes as being a man, I lead a little more because I'm the head of this house. So I lead by example. And sometimes I understand eventually it'll come around and she'll get it. And don't require her to get it the same day I explain it. And I think a lot of women, especially black women, because that's who I'm talking to, because, I got a heart. I was raised by a single mom to us. Just understand, like, we are really trying as brothers. I know it might seem, like Chris said, like the pickings are slim. They're not. It's a lot of good dudes out here who have great intentions. If you just be patient and all the work that y'all done did, y'all say y'all did, put that work into him or help him walk down that path for that work, I'm telling you, you will get paid. At the end, it will be a great payout. I was a rough around the edges guy. And truth be told,
he still is.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's a lot of women. I feel like I dated a lot of good women. But with no grace, they messed up and I ended up getting with my wife. And she got the best of me. And no, I'm not blaming them, and I'm not saying that. And I'm happy they did because I got her. But I'm just saying some of their lives could have been different because I always was going to be this guy. This is who I was going to be. Even though I didn't take the straight path, I was going to be this guy. And I always say, as I look at so many of my homeboys, this ain't bull. They good guys. Because I know some dirty, nasty dog of guys. I ain't talking about cheating. That's the most minute level of nasty, dirty. I'm talking about inconsistent, inconsiderate, no heart, greedy, selfish. Like, that's the kind of stuff that if a person never cheats, it'll just eat you up from the inside and destroy you, but you'll never have nothing tangible to leave a marriage. So you will die being married 30 years and unhappy. That's even worse. So I'm telling you, have a little grace, ladies. Just a little bit more. Because I really believe in black marriage. And I really want to see more sisters walk down that aisle and have meaningful marriages to raise productive citizens under one for. Just please, for me, just try a little bit more.
Yeah, well, let me be me as say I blame the women, but bro, there's a lot of good men out here. There's a lot of good. This is my quote. There are a lot of good dudes out there. He just don't fit this image of what you want him to look. Because a lot of people are looking for somebody to take the pictures with and the fantasy. But there are some good dudes out here. He might not look like whoever the newest dude is, but damn, who's to say what you're gonna look like in 5-10 years? So are you looking for love or are you looking for likes?
How do she look? Have you seen her without makeup, weave, and all these other things? How do you know how she looks?
I'm saying, well, listen, I would tell people, look at the mama. Look at the mama. You get this little fat finding things, you know what I mean? But I'm saying people will say they just want somebody. I just want somebody to love. I just meet me this guy. And then your actions are totally different. Like I want this person and they don't want me. It's somebody that want me. I don't want them. I see a whole lot of that going on out here. You know what I mean? And everybody trying to get the same damn guy and then wonder why, here's a guy that each woman could say she might not be crazy about, but he would treat her like a queen because she don't want him. I ain't saying he got to be Rasputia brother or whatever, but I'm just saying there are some decent brothers out there, but a lot of people are trying to define themselves through who they with, and sometimes that's going to backfire on you. You know what I mean? So that's my point, Dick Doctor.
Word.
All right, you know what? Do we want the last question?
Yes, we want the last question. You goddamn right. We need to address this.
Especially after what we just spoke about.
Yes,
definitely.
We do. Bring it on, young Jedi.
Okay. Goddamn angry people. Y'all need more fiber. Y'all been real tense around here, man. Hey, I borrowed this from my brother Troy Vaughn in Ringside. Domestic situation. Here's a story. Everybody can answer and everybody can respond. Robert told his wife, Denise, of 5 years that he encourages her to make sure that her 3 children have an inheritance from either her or their dad, because his plan only includes his 2 sons and no one else. Do you think Robert is wrong for having that position? Robert's married to Denise. His inheritance only leaves something for his 2 kids, not her kids. Is Robert wrong for having that position? And should Denise allow that to impact her marriage stance?
Oh, okay, I go. Okay. Well,
you couldn't wait. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're damn right. Here's the thing. I think what we're talking about is 2 things, because I see wrong in both situations, both parties. I think what we're talking about is responsibility and accountability. And I said over and over again, I think men struggle with responsibility, women struggle with accountability. Now, a man is responsible. Well, I say it like this: since a man does not have the say so of bringing kids in the world, he has the responsibility for the kids that he make. Simple as that. So the man's first responsibility is to his children that he made. Now, when Robert decided to marry that woman, he now have a responsibility to his wife. So his responsibility in this situation is to his children and his wife. So what I think Robert is wrong in is that he didn't leave nothing to his wife, because his wife is now his responsibility because he married her. No one held a gun to your head. You married that woman. That woman is your responsibility, and so is the kids that you created. Now we got to go talk about accountability. Accountability is on that woman. You had those kids. He didn't have them. You had those kids. You chose to bring those kids in this world. You are accountable for the kids that you brought into this world. So it's up to you to enforce the responsibility of them children's future on the guy who's responsible for those kids, which is you and that man. So again, I think we're talking about responsibility and accountability. I say it over and over again, and I'm gonna say it again. Men struggle with responsibility, women struggle with accountability, and that's what we're seeing in this situation. That's what I got. Mario.
Well, I feel like that was some good points you made, Chris. This is how I feel. Right now, I'm pretty sure she had her kids and you had your kids, and this should have been a conversation y'all talked about before you got married. That's how I feel. Let's just start there. The second thing is, you as a man, I really believe that once you become a man and you marry a woman, that you take on all responsibility of everything that's under your roof and your household. So if she comes with 2 kids or 3 kids, you knew that before you came, so you knew that this is the responsibility that I had because I am the shepherd and this is my flock. So I'm responsible for everything that's in my under my roof. So I think that right now, and this is a good, not to change subjects, but this is a good reason why I feel like men as pickers, because Chris, Tootie, and Zakin and I, we are the pickers. We are the ones who choose. You should choose a woman, because I feel like the question should be, why did you choose a woman that you don't feel like you can leave everything to divide properly and take care of everybody? See, I think that honestly that right now he should just leave her the money and then leave her responsible to take care of her kids. Because if any thought in your mind is that your kids are going to be left out in any kind of way or be shaded or don't get enough, then 1, you shouldn't have married her, or 2, you should have set up talk to a financial advisor and set up them a trust on their own that entitles to them to be unlocked so they can have all access to it without her. But I just really feel like it's so wrong, because I feel like a lot of times when we talk about marriage, we do one thing and say another. We want to be married because of 1, 3, and 5, and we forget 2 and 4. Bro, like, you are a man. God bless you with a dick and balls. You are the head. If you marry a woman with children, those become your dependents. Period. Because you didn't have to choose her. So if she had 10 kids, you knew it, pay. Give her the money and let her put it how she want to. And if you think that she gonna give it all to her kids and not your kids, then you shouldn't have married her in the first place. That's how I feel.
Listen, I agree with that. Maybe I'm going to be guilty of simping for the first time, and because I dated someone before, and I knew both of them. You know, I knew we went to school, but I was dating them, and it was such a strain on the relationship that I was telling her, like, if we were getting to that point, like, let him go. It was a big issue about child support. I'm like, you don't need it. You with me now, so you know, I got you. And it actually didn't work out because the person didn't want to let go of the child support. So I'm like, okay, well, you stay with that check. But I think I'm biased because of I've been the stepson. And I remember when I was a kid, being the oldest, mom come through, you know, stepdad come through, drop off food for everybody else. We go through the bags, like, where the food at? They brought food for everybody but me. So I'm like, dang. And I was like, what did I do to you personally that you didn't have in your heart to provide for me? So with that being said, like Mario said, if I'm the man, I'm taking on everything that comes with you in your life. When I got married, your kids were mine, and I did such because I know the feeling. You know, I know the impact that I'm having in those kids' lives, and I know the responsibility that I signed on. I took that to God. So, is he wrong? Before being a stepson, I probably would have thought not. You know, I'd be like, that's his right. Some people are like that, but that's kind of like how most men I know are. But me, knowing if I've taken on those kids to be under my legacy, under my roof, and that I've told God that I'm going to love those kids as my own, then I don't even know if I could rest eternally, knowing that I may have hurt those kids in my departure. So I don't have responsibility to do it, but I believe I do. I believe that I want those kids to prosper and do well, and hopefully that'll be my last token of love for those kids. So, you know, I know everybody won't agree, but maybe I'm biased because of being in those situations before. And now, you know, I accept it. If something was happening now, it is what it is. But I know I wouldn't do that. So that's the difference.
I think just to say one more thing is that I think to say that this too. I believe those kids gonna become so close, right? Because I think oftentimes my daughter is the oldest of my baby mama's children, right? So a lot of times I always gotta keep it to accountability that like those are her sisters. It don't matter if you care or not. Those are her sisters. So you cannot do them or not do this, but then it's gonna leave a burden on her. So I would think that, you know what I'm saying? Like in Horace, what he's saying is 100% true. Like, bro, if I'm pouring into you, my love, if I'm picking you up from school, if I'm sitting down reading with you, if I'm doing all this other stuff to you, money is the least of my word about giving you. I gave you my time and my love. I gave you a piece of my life. So I'm not worried about giving you some money. I gave you the most important thing that I never could get back, and that's life. So if you pour into a child, I think any man will feel like, what's leaving them some money? Money is the least of what I'm worried about if I'm doing all this other sacrifice in my life for you. That's what I would feel. Go ahead, Zay.
All right. So I'm going to do my best with this because, you know, y'all know me personally, and this one kind of is one of those touchy ones for me. Horace, I understand why you gave the answer you gave. Is because in order to know some things, you got to go through some things. So you know the importance of it, being that you went through that. To answer the question, though, is Robert wrong? No, Robert is not wrong for Robert's thought process of how he feels.
Stop moving. Make it like
okay. My bad. Problem nervous. But at the end of the day, Robert is not wrong for how he feels. Right? Is he wrong for the situation and the covenant that he made before God to love and protect and take care of his woman and what everything that she's attached to? 100%. I'm gonna agree with that. But I do want to take a page out of Mario's book, as you spoke about Sandra and Artist, the grace, because the second part of the question was, should the wife allow that to impact her marriage position? the impact that it should have on her marriage position, because I see a lot of women saying, you know, Robert need to be single, or she no sir, and she should get out of there. If she needs to teach Robert, because Robert don't know some things, as we were talking about before. Now, obviously, she can't make Robert do anything, but if he loves her the way that he said, then he should be able to be open to hear what she's trying to tell him. And as the man of that household, you should want to make sure that everyone is straight. The same way as when you were living, you made sure that the lights was on, the roof was over their head, food was in their bellies. You want to make sure that that same thing happens. And again, that's coming from a guy who sold life insurance. So one of the main things that we would say, especially to a breadwinner who's 9 times out of 10 the father, is the reason why you bust your tail right now for your family is the reason why you want to make sure that when you're no longer able to bust your tail for your family, they're all straight, not just one faction. So yes.
How can I say I love this person, but I don't love all of them? Like, I know she got kids. Mm-hmm. Like, first of all, that conversation should have been had. That's why we always say you should have every conversation under the sun before you get married or in a relationship like that. But I'm saying realistically, like, I love this woman, but I don't love and I'm pretty sure a lot of people marry women that got some horrible kids. Mm-hmm. But how can I love her and not love all of her?
What do you? Why do you need to?
It's not even about the horrible kids.
Why do you need to? I've coached kids that I did not love. I've been the caretaker of kids that I did not love. Why do you need love to teach a kid, to mentor a kid, to respect a kid, to be careful with a kid, to care for a kid? I don't know why do you need love for that. I don't even know if I question the fact that you need love in the marriage. But of course, we got family members that we don't actually love. I don't understand how you have to do that. And again, in these situations, I don't get this. That's the father's responsibility. I said I seen fault in Robert for not leaving nothing to his wife. He said his plan was simply for his 2 kids. His plan should have been for what he's responsible for. His 2 kids and his wife. If his wife want to divvy out however she sees fit, I don't know if that was what Mario was talking about, but I agree with that. But no, like that. What about the accountability of that father?
I want to know this.
I want to understand something.
I got a question.
You can't. I'm going to say you're bringing the other father into the play when he's not in that marriage with them. He has to take care of his kids. Yes, that man loves that woman. You're saying that he should just love the woman.
They still in the marriage.
So listen, I'm saying to you.
When they out the
you're
house,
saying
they
that
still
the
in
woman.
The marriage?
So you're saying that the man should love the woman and not love her kids as well, right?
I'm saying you don't have to. I don't say it requires that, because that woman is not going to require her kids to love you. What I'm saying is, I think that we go through our life being able to be cordial, being respectful, being everything good to other people without love, without actually loving them. I have family members that I don't actually love. That doesn't mean I have to. That doesn't mean I have no problem with them. That can't be respectful to them. But that doesn't require. That has nothing to do with leaving her inheritance or nothing. That has nothing to do with it.
I think that I look at marriage as a structure: God, man, woman, family. So I'm gonna say that I don't think the sheep have to love the shepherd, but I definitely think the shepherd has to love the sheep. So I'm a shepherd. That's what I believe the head of the household is. Like, that's what you signed up to be. The provider, the protector. That's what you signed up to be. It's not like this thing. But so right now, as a shepherd, you cannot herd or gather sheep if you don't have love for them. See, the sheep don't have to love you. They just have to respect you and follow you. But you have to have love. Because if the sheep get lost, they always say, do you go for that one, or do you get? You always have to be out there loving. And this is the position you signed up for. So it's almost like saying, well, as a boss, like, why do I have to? Because that's who you are. You sign up to be that guy. Like right now, and most women, we can't be naive in saying that most women with kids that get married are looking for a man to love them and their kids. Right. If you don't want to do that, then I believe you should say that in the beginning. I'm not going to be required to love your kids. If you got enough balls to say that, and she got enough balls to walk down the aisle with you, and you have let this woman know wholeheartedly, I'm not required to love your kid, then by all means, Chris, I agree with you. But I believe most men do not tell a woman, I'm not going to be required.
I've seen people do some of the dirtiest things in the name of love. Love does not shield you does not protect you from wrongdoing. Honor, respect, and your moral compass. That's what it does.
And so it should be easy to say that.
So
it should be easy to say, I'm not going to be required to love your kids.
How's that a requirement?
I'm saying it should be easy.
Do you love her mother? Do you love her brother? Because that's all of her. You said that we have to love all of her. Do you love her brother? Do you love her auntie? Do you love her cousins? No.
So what's the ratio of men you think has this conversation? And I would that says I'm not because see we talking about balls here. See, we're not talking about beating around the bush. We're not talking about shading the truth. We're talking about being real. So as I'm getting ready to marry this woman, I think you should have enough balls to say, "Hey."
But why do we have to have this conversation? Why do we have to have this conversation?
I think you should have a necessary conversation.
Why is it a necessary conversation?
That's necessary.
How did
But you have a financial conversation.
How have I treated these kids?
Chris.
The whole entire time
that's a whole nother.
How everything righteous.
These kids the whole entire time we were together.
Anything you should get understanding.
While I was the
everything you should get understanding. I heard you one time
of this house. I have taken care of this house. That's my responsibility.
I heard you one time say,
I don't know if that's my responsibility.
I heard you say that one time. I'm never wrong for getting an understanding.
Anything righteous requires order.
You can never be wrong for getting an understanding. So if I feel for an inkling that you don't understand or we not, and maybe it's just me assuming, but right now we got to take the naive blanket off and say that I don't think that most women, come on, we are understanding men. I think most women think that. So as a man, let me address it to let you know where I stand because I have balls. Yep. Hey, I love you. I can pledge to you. You are who I love. I can respect your kids. I can take them to school. I'm telling you before we walk down and sign this covenant, what I can do for you. I told you this, everything I can do, what I'm signing up for. This is an agreement. I don't know how you could think you can leave something. I think anything that you think that might need to be talked about should be talked about before you get married. If you think it's an inkling,
I think that love.
Right.
I think that love.
I don't even want to.
It should be organic. It shouldn't be forced on anyone in any circumstances.
I'm not saying
you're missing it.
Anybody
have the balls to say that to her. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying
anybody that I would marry that would allow me to.
I'm pretty sure.
Listen, anybody I married that would go for that, I don't even know if they love them. Like I'm telling you, I'm with you, but for F your kids, almost like F your kids.
That's not what it said.
That's what it sounds like, Chris.
That's what I got.
You be the same kids that you took care of the whole time you was living. And
so why wouldn't you do the same when you're not living? That don't make no sense.
What do you mean that doesn't make sense?
You just said that you took care of them while you're living. But
because
when I'm dead, y'all on y'all own.
That's their dad responsibility.
That ain't that Chris.
We need to hold
if
that
you
woman
get married
and
to a woman, Chris, and you still keep talking to her about their dad responsibility, you're gonna have a problem in your relationship. It's your responsibility once you become that man.
But he might know. He might know.
Not if you're not picking a woman that damsel in distress.
I'm agreeing. He might
take care of their kids anyway. I have something set for their children anyway. You shouldn't be dealing with no woman that ain't got something set for her. That number one priority is the well-being and the future of their kids. You shouldn't even be dealing with a woman that doesn't do that.
I agree with that, Chris.
All I'm saying is how the ball say it. See, when you lose me when you say, why should I have to say it? No, because you're a man. Like the thing that we talking about being about, I'm saying, I'm okay. If she agreed to it, that's on her. I'm not saying it's your responsibility. They have fathers. That's their responsibility. But I'm saying, if you feel that convicted and passionate about it and feel like it's not your responsibility, and you know that most women think that way, walk up to her like a man and say, hey, I'm letting you know, this is the way it's going to go. And if you do that and she accepts it,
well, I've always had conversations and say, I don't believe that love should be forced on anybody. I'm going to always have a conversation and say, hey, do you require your children to love me like you require me to love your children? And if you say no to that, if you say that, no, my children have the option to love you, then yes, I agree with you. We don't have to have that conversation. But again, I've never hurt any child. I would not hurt any child. I love children, but that doesn't, I separate the need to love. I don't have to love someone to treat them well. I don't have to love someone to protect them. I don't have to do that. That should be something be something organic. That should never be forced on anyone.
I agree with you too. I just say good luck with that.
That sounds like love to me.
I feel like I'm saying I agree with that. You don't have to love somebody, do all that. You can just be a good Samaritan and do all of that. That's true. I'm talking about the understanding of what are we talking about here, bro. We all adults. We know that some women and most women, you understand what you're saying is unorthodox. Most men don't do that. So as a man who has a lot of knowledge, I'm gonna walk into a certain situation and say, most men don't have nuts, but I'm Chris, I do. And I don't feel like I'm required to do such and such and such. Love me as I am. If you do that, I respect it because she signed up for that. But if you, in any kind of way, withhold that conversation, knowing
what I'm saying is
that's wrong.
We romanticize love way too much, and we don't want to talk about the ugliness of love, because love has an ugly side, and love has, in the name of love, so many bad things have been done. I think that we should require respect more than we require love, because love and then people can sit here and say they love you. People run their mouth all they want to. Show me your actions. Show me your actions. Don't tell me you love my child. Show me your actions. Just respect her. I don't require you to love my child. I think that that's an organic relationship. If you guys decide to be together, if you guys decide to have an organic relationship and love comes from that, that's fine. But what I'm gonna tell my child is to respect that woman, and what I'm gonna tell that woman is to respect my child. And you guys formulate your own relationship, because I think that two people should be able to do that organically and nothing be forced on neither party.
See, I'm not talking from the out. I had this talk. My wife had no children. So I told her from the beginning, I'm not requiring you to love my daughter. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about balls here. See, I'm not talking about, I didn't say, well, she should just know that. I think she know that. Well, it's a conversation we don't got to have. No, let's have this conversation. Because you might not feel like that. This is what I'm telling you. You don't have to love Jayla. I love Jayla.
Well, how do you prove it? How do you know it? Just because he said it? How do you?
I'm telling you what I'm not requiring. I'm telling you what I'm not requiring.
No, what I'm saying is this: in our situation, in the scenario that we're talking about, how do she validate that?
I can't tell you.
Just because he said it.
I can't tell you that.
That's pie in the sky stuff he talking.
Does she believe in your word? That's like anything. If you tell me you will come pick me up tomorrow, how do I know it? I can only, until the action happens, I can only take your word for it. That's anything until the action happens. So I can't say right now. You say, Mario, I got you. I'm gonna pick you up from the airport. How do I know that? Because of your track record and who I believe you are. That's period. That's anything in life. But all I'm saying is have a conversation. I have no problem with what you're saying. Whatever you feel in a marriage, because I believe you know this wholeheartedly, it's what two people agree on. If she says, I'm okay, Chris, you're right, Chris, you don't gotta do nothing but respect my kids and love, and I got them. Y'all walk over to the thing. But I think if any kind of way, she is the kind of woman, like the women in these comments, and you don't address it, because I see more of that. So that leads me to believe there's more women who are going to think that that's the right way. That's what I think. So I'm going to say, let me address
it. If she's willing to leave a good man that's willing to take care of her and her children, and the only problem he has is to make sure his responsibilities is taken care of, meaning his children and his wife, then that's a sorry woman.
But then that conversation saved you 10 to 20 years of marriage that you shouldn't have had.
I don't think that's a deal breaker. I don't think that. I'm
saying you just said if she leaves you, if she leaves you because of this, then the conversation
I'll be dead.
No, I'm saying if she leaves you because of this, and you had a conversation, then you won't waste no time. You would know that she telling me she can't be with me. That's on her. So she left me, and then I'm gonna go on to another woman. I'm gonna have that same conversation and say, hey, I'm gonna respect your kids, love them, but you're not gonna require me to love them. And she might say, Chris, I agree. And y'all go into that. But why not have that conversation and get the woman who's gonna accept that wholeheartedly rather than get somebody and find out later that that's a disagreement? That's all I'm saying.
I'm prepared for any woman to leave if that's what she want to do.
All righty.
I understand that.
Hey, closing comments. Ran long. Closing comments. I'm going to Chris Leo.
Man, thank you guys for showing up, but I need you guys to do me a huge favor. There's this young artist that just put out his a project that I really, really love. TTD Tito. Go check out this project, Mr. TMS. That's an acronym for Talk My Shit. Shout out to Tito. Shout out to this new project. I love what you're doing. I love the growth. I see the growth. You actually have a woman song on it. Now, it is a little misogynistic, but hey, we listen to WAP and we put Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion on the Grammy. So I don't want to hear that crap about misogyny. But thank you guys for showing up. The $40 is on the dresser.
Ladies, man.
The $40 is on the dresser for any ladies that come through with your lovely question. Just like we had the young lady put forth her question, we definitely want to answer them. So send them into our inbox. We love to get it out so that we can have conversations like we had tonight with you who interact with us. Thank you for coming out. Please follow up. What's happening, Harv?
Where did this $40 come from?
Oh,
10.
5, 5, 5, 5. You eat a premium, buddy. You get a good lunch for $20.
Y'all see who cheap?
I ain't cheap. I ain't broke either. Hey, Mario.
Hey, I want to thank y'all for coming out tonight. I think the last segment is the envisionment of what we had for this show when we first started it. See, we had these kind of conversations all the time. And I think we want to get online to give y'all a glimpse into what men talk about, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And no matter what we talk about, we still gonna be brothers. We gonna all have different point of views. But the point is, we had these conversations. We bounce them off each other. We learn and we grow from them. And a lot of time, women ask, "What do a man see?" Right now, tonight, y'all got to understand 4 different point of views of a man on a serious situation. So I think if it's no other time that you had a great question or a question, this should be the time where the Super Friends inbox should overflow with women. I've seen so many suggestions, so many comments, so many questions. The timeline is just rolling up and down. So it leads me to believe this. A lot of women have questions for us or statements or how do we do this or why do y'all think this? And right now I'm not seeing the love reciprocated to our inbox. So I plead to y'all and I beg if I do lower myself to do so, as we just gave y'all such quality content. Please ask us a question. And I'm pretty sure whether you like the answer or not, I can guarantee you will get an answer. Thank you for joining in again on a Monday night.
Appreciate you.
All right. Ladies, man, someone's highlighting your red tails painted in your background.
Okay.
You know it's red tails behind you. All right, listen, guys. Man. Shout out to the crew because these, like I said, these are the conversations that we will be having on 34th Street in the den with food, and they would get heated and go all around, and it would be more people. But a real conversation. So never think that men aren't having real conversations. Shout out to Lee My Goldwire, who was in the comments, who shared this show. I asked that you share the show. Share it. Last segment we had with Mario, we talked about marriage. I forgot what the topic was. 57,000 views, and that was real conversation. So that's what our goal is. But shout out to Lee My Goldwire. Definitely gonna bring you on for an episode on a Thursday show, man. Because right now, men ain't silent no more. We talking, we sharing. But all the ladies are people listening.
I got a question. He has good gentleman tips. Y'all need to pay attention to that.
Right. I got a request for each and every person.
Balus, you are the pioneer. We appreciate you.
You're the first. I was gonna say, each and every person that's tuned in right now, whenever you see this show, if you can tag 5 people or even share each and every one, we know that our net worth is going to be the network, and it's the people that you know that we don't know who need to hear these impactful conversations. Tap them in, put it on your page. That's all we ask. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another week. Send in those viewer questions, and we also do endorsements and commercials and sponsorships. So, listen, I appreciate the journey. I appreciate these 3 guys that's on air with me tonight, and we will see you next week. No, we will see you Thursday. I'm going to make it happen. We will see you Thursday this week. They're going to work overtime this week and bring out some content. So, see you next week. Thank you for joining the Black Super Friends podcast. We're international.